The desert sun dipped low behind the jagged hills of Texas, painting the sky with hues of orange and rose. A faint wind swept over the open plains, carrying with it the distant cry of coyotes and the scent of dry earth. Dust swirled around a lone figure walking down an empty road, a woman in a torn dress, holding nothing but a small satchel and a letter folded in her trembling hands. Her name was Mary Ellen, and that letter was all she had left of her past. Her husband, once a proud rancher, had died in a tragic accident, trampled by the very horses he raised. After the funeral, her husband's brothers turned cold. They accused her of bad luck, of bringing ruin to the family. Within a week, she was thrown out of the house with nowhere to go. For 2 days, Mary walked the dirt road with blistered feet, hungry, thirsty, and with a heavy heart. The letter she carried was from a kind-hearted priest in a nearby town. "If you can make it to Willow Creek, there's a church and a few kind souls who might help." But life had one more twist to throw her way. As the sun disappeared completely, she collapsed near an old wooden fence, unable to walk another step. The world blurred before her eyes. Then she heard the sound of hooves. A tall cowboy on a chestnut horse rode into view. His hat shadowed his face, but his voice was calm and deep. "Miss, you all right there?" She barely managed to whisper, "I just need a place to rest." He jumped off his horse, lifted her gently, and gave her water from his canteen. "Name's Jack Harlan," he said. "You're lucky I was riding home this way." "My ranch ain't far. You can rest there." Mary hesitated. In a world where women like her were often judged and shunned, trusting a stranger was dangerous, but the kindness in Jack's eyes gave her courage. He took her to his ranch, a modest but peaceful place, surrounded by endless fields and a small wooden house with a glowing lantern in the window. His mother, an elderly woman with silver hair and a kind smile, welcomed Mary without question. For the first time in weeks, Mary slept in a warm bed. Days turned into weeks. Mary helped Jack's mother with chores, cooking, and tending to the garden. Slowly, the sadness in her eyes began to fade. Jack rarely spoke about himself, but she noticed how he worked from sunrise to sundown, taking care of the ranch alone. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Mary found Jack fixing a broken fence. She brought him some water. "You don't have to help so much," he said softly. "I want to," she replied. "It feels good to be useful again." He looked at her for a long moment. "You've been through hell, haven't you?" Mary's eyes welled up. "I lost my husband, and then my home. My family turned their backs on me. I thought maybe I didn't deserve to live." Jack wiped the sweat from his brow and said, "You deserve better than the way this world treated you." That night, under a blanket of stars, they talked for hours about dreams, regrets, and second chances. For the first time since her husband's death, Mary laughed. Weeks later, the town was buzzing with gossip. People whispered that a widow was living with the cowboy, unwed. Jack didn't care, but Mary felt the sting of judgment. One morning, she packed her things quietly. She left a note on the kitchen table. "Thank you for saving me, but I don't want to bring shame to your name. I'll be fine on my own." When Jack found the note, he saddled his horse and rode hard after her. He found her walking down the same dusty road where they'd first met. "Mary!" he shouted. She turned, startled. "Jack, please. I can't let them ruin your reputation." Jack stopped in front of her, breathing hard. "Let them talk," he said. "This land, this life, it's all noise without someone to share it with. You belong here, with me." Mary shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "Why would you do that for someone like me?" He took off his hat and said quietly, "Because you're not just someone. You're the reason my heart started beating again." Then, in that golden silence, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a small silver ring. "I don't have much, but I can give you my name. Not out of pity, but because I want you beside me for every sunrise from now on." Mary covered her mouth in disbelief. The wind rustled through the dry grass as she whispered, "Jack, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," he smiled. She nodded, tears of joy glistening in her eyes. Months later, the ranch was alive again. Laughter in the kitchen, music on the porch, and flowers blooming by the fence. The townsfolk who once gossiped now admired the strength of the couple, who had turned pain into partnership. Jack and Mary worked side by side, their love quiet but unbreakable. She found peace not because someone rescued her, but because someone believed she was worth saving. And every evening as the sun dipped low over the plains, she would hold Jack's hand and whisper, "You kept your promise. You gave me a new beginning." He would smile and reply, "And you gave me a reason to live." The desert, once empty and silent, now echoed with laughter, life, and the sound of hope, carried by the wind across the wide Texas plains. Moral. Sometimes the family you lose is replaced by the family you choose. Love doesn't always come wrapped in perfection. Sometimes it rides in on a dusty horse, offering nothing but kindness and a promise to stay.